Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are going to start Gulmohar English Class 7 Chapter 6 The Wolf of Cernogratz. So this is written by Saki, a pen name of British author Hector Hugh Munro. He used to write short stories. So they are basically telling that Saki is the pen name of that poet Britisher. His actual name is Hector Hugh Munro, whose short stories remain very popular to this day for their wit and sharp comments on society. So why are they more popular? Because of the wit and sharp comments on their societies. The Lumber Rumor and The Open Window are some of his other famous stories. So actually, if I tell The Wolf of Cernogratz, it is actually a supernatural. It is actually a supernatural story. So what happens in a supernatural? Some kind of such like darkness, dark night. These kinds of words are used, and these are for harm, or they're basically for harm only. So actually, there was a family of Cernogratz in this, which was very rich, had very lavish life, and but suddenly they lost all the wealth and became poor because of some reason. So some characters such as Baron, Baronesses, the Lady Emily, these all are the characters here. Now let's move. Are there any old legends attached to the castle? So actually the pronunciation is castle. It's not castle. I am also wrong, sorry. It's castle. Okay. So who is asking this question? Asked Conrad of his sister. So Conrad's sister, who is Conrad's sister? Baronesses. Baronesses Grubel's brother is Conrad, और जो Conrad है, he is asking, are there any old legends attached to the castle? Now basically, what is the meaning of this legend? You must be thinking that legend is a person who is a great person or someone. No. Here in this story, see, legend is also a great person, but in this story, legend means a story which is passed on from generation to generation, which is having some values, passed on generation to generation, and has some values. So Conrad was prosperous merchant, but he was the one poetically dispositioned member of highly practical family. Highly practical family. What is a highly practical family? That means that they did not believe on fictions like such as there are ghosts, and if we eat something, usually if you have heard in your house, they say that you have eaten sweet, don't go outside, the ghost will catch you. We usually listen this. So they were a highly practical family, and they never ever believed on it. Whereas they are saying that Conrad was a poetically dispositioned. That means the Conrad disposition means nature or character. Conrad has the imaginative and sensitive nature of a poet. That means he believed on these fictions and tried to understand the nature. So he was one poetically dispositioned member of a highly practical family. The family was practical, whereas Conrad was not practical. He was little in fiction and imaginative. The Baronesses Grubel shrugged her shoulders. So Baronesses is the wife of a baron or a woman holding the title of a baron, a title given to a certain rank of a nobleman's wife. Okay. But the Baronesses Grubel shrugged her shoulders. That means we lift up our shoulders. Just like, what is this? They move up. What is this? So she didn't know. So she shrugged and said that I don't know. There are always legends hanging about all these old places. So they are saying that there are always some legends which are there in these old places. In this case, there's a story that when one dies in the castle, all the dogs in the village and the wild beast in the forest howl the night long. So, so they have said that the Baroness's Grubble just remembered that okay, there was a story. They said that actually there's not a true legend. This is not a true legend. She was trying to say. So she said that in this case of castle, there's a story that whenever someone dies, in the castle, all the dogs in the village and all the wild beast, wolf, in the forest howl for the long night. It would not be pleasant to listen to, would it? So she said that it is not very pleasant to hear those howls and that, and this is an unbearable sound. And would you like to listen it? It would be weird and romantic, said the merchant. So Conrad's profession was being an merchant. What was Conrad's profession? Conrad's profession was being a merchant. So now the Conrad, Baroness's brother, he said that it would be actually very weird and romantic. Here romantic, what does here romantic means? Exciting, that it would be weird also, unusual also, but it would be romantic also, said the merchant. So why do you think he said that it would be romantic, it would be exciting? Because actually he was not practical, he was poetically disposition. That is the reason. Anyhow, it isn't true, said the Baroness. So Baroness says, anyhow, this legend is not at all true. Since we bought the place, we have had proof that nothing of sort this happens. She said that whenever we came to this castle, we never saw these sort of things happening, and these are just fictions. When the old mother-in-law died last springtime, we all listened, but there was no howling. She said that when my mother-in-law was dying in the last springtime, then there was no howling. It is just a story that lends dignity to the place without costing anything. That means it's just a story made to pay tribute to the castle. The story is not as you have told it, said Emily. So Emily, she just interrupted the Conrads and Baroness's conversation, and she was expressionless. She said, the story is not as you have told it. The grey old governess. Governess is not something which is governing something. It's just like she is a maid who is doing household chores. Everyone turned and looked at her in astonishment and shock. She was used to sit silent and prim and faded in her place at table. She used to be quiet. She used to be prim, very proper and not easily shocked behavior. And so she never speaking unless someone spoke to her, and there were few who did. So she never spoke whenever she only spoke when anyone asked her. Otherwise she didn't spoke. But now she spoke, so it was very weird. Today, however, she continued to talk rapidly and nervously. That means quickly and nervously, looking straight in front of her, seeming to address no one in particular. She was not focusing or targeting someone to particular, but she was very having a prim and faded face. Now let's come to our next page. Now let's have a next page. So this is our next page. We are going to start with this page. So if we talk about in this page, so now they are telling, it is not when anyone dies in the castle that the howling is heard. It was when one of the Cernogratz family died here that the wolves came from far and near and howled at the edge of the forest just before an death hour. So she said that this is not the story in which the way you told. This only happens when a Cernogratz family died here, and that the wolves came from far and near, and they used to howl at the edge of the forest just before 1 hour before the death of the Cernogratz family. And the dogs of the castle and the village and all farms around would bay and howl in fear and anger. So this is the true legend which is told by Emily. So she's saying that the dogs of this castle and the village, all the farms, they round and bay. That means they make a voice of crying and howl in fear and anger at the wolf chorus as the soul of the dying one is left. A tree would crash in the park. So when the soul is leaving the body, the tree used to crash down in the park. But for a stranger dying here, of course, no wolf would howl and no trees would fall. Oh no. So she said that if a stranger is dying, no wolf would howl and no tree would fall. Oh no. So she said, oh no. There was a note of defiance, almost of contentment, as she said the last words. The Baroness stared angrily at women. So now, defiance, that means that was a note of defiance. She was protecting herself. She was telling and proudly. Almost of contentment, that means lack of respect in her voice. She said the last words. And the Baronesses were staring her. See, you can see the Baroness is a little arrogant, little not. She is only arrogant. You seem to know quite a lot about the Wolves of Cernogratz legend, Fräulein Schmidt, she said sharply. So she is arrogant, and she used to say this. Fräulein Schmidt. That means in Hindi we say na, oh ji, aapko ye pata hai? Achha. In that way she said it. She said sharply, I did not knew that family histories were among the subjects were. See, fraudulent is a woman who is unmarried. I did not knew that family histories were among the subjects were expert in. So she said, oh, I don't knew that you know the histories of Cernogratz family. The answer to her taunt was even more unexpected and astonishing. So the answer she gave to this taunt was more astonishing. What was the answer? I'm a Wolves of Cernogratz myself, said the old woman, and that is why I know the family history. So she said that I know the family history because I am Wolves to Cernogratz. I am belonging to Cernogratz family. You are a Wolves Cernogratz? Came an incredulous chorus. So disbelieving chorus, the voice came. Huh? You are in Cernogratz? When we became poor, she explained. So she now told that when we became poor, I had to go out and give teaching to the lessons. So I took another name so that anyone cannot understand that I am a Cernogratz. But my grandfather has spent much of time as a little boy in this castle childhood, and her father also used to tell her stories about it. Thank you for watching the video. We'll continue it.